once you come over here and, you know, you've done the first sweep,
Uh-huh.
and you're coming back,
Uh-huh.
okay? You know your weight is shifting,
Uh-huh.
okay? But it doesn't shift completely to your left, am I correct? It sort of stays in the middle?
That's a good question.
Oh, yes.
So so the question is, hey, when you go back and you go back here, do you go all the way back, or does it kind of stay in the middle?
Right.
I have to back up one move and say, hey, be sure to turn first without shifting back.
Okay.
That's kind of a follow through to your first move. And then when you go back without moving the arms or the upper body.
Okay.
Okay, so this goes back to the substantial and substantial of the 10 important points, which means if you want your feet to have root, or I'm sorry, if you want it's the waist loose and the substantial and the substantial. So if you want to have power in your waist, you have to know where you're standing. So you usually can't turn if you're on both feet. You can't really turn easily. The feet will both undo and you lose your balance in general. But if you can get on one leg and then turn, there's a lot of rotating power. And like for instance, if I'm with Mr. Dietry and we're doing push hands and then he's coming in deep on me, I go back first, then turn and pull, and I'm okay. I could even hold on to him a little bit and pull back. And he's being nice and letting me do that. But you know, in the context of push hands, he isn't being nice and letting me do that. We'll do that on each other, but it doesn't work if I. So this is where application is real important. If I am in the middle or on the front and I try to do it, even if he's off balance a little bit like he was a second ago, I can't really pull on him. Two things have to happen is when I'm on my back leg, he's extra forward, and it's easy. It's easier to pull and turn. So I use that as an example. Thank you. If I'm here, I turn. Okay, so I'm going back first without turning, and I get to that point where I've yielded enough that now I turn, because that is the move called pull back, and it is about yielding. Okay, so that I said I had to back up a step to answer your question, because when you demonstrated it, you went back and moved the arms at the same time, which would invite him to pull and take you a different direction. So I go back first, stay rooted, then turn. But now to go forward and answer your question, the original question was, hey, how much back do I go? Do I go all the way back, or do I kind of stay 50-50? There's an illusion of staying 50-50 because of the knees staying bent. So I go here, I go back. It looks like I have more weight here than I do, but watch how easily I can move my knee. That tells you that there's not a lot of weight there. Where here, I can't move my knee, partly from my position and partly because it's so much weight on it. So I'm not straightening this guy because it'll tip me forward, which will defeat the purpose of a pull. I got to stay straight to be able to rotate on my center and have that power. Okay, so I think we use the percentages a lot. 70-30 doesn't mean anything. I mean, what is 70-30? Want to get some scales out and figure out what that is? What we want to do is go back enough that we feel rooted straight down to the foot, and that should be 70 about, and it should be able to turn. If I go further back, I actually feel like I'm on my heel and I'm going to fall backwards. And even if I try to turn, I'm even making myself fall backwards. Does that answer your question?
Well, yeah, but there's some confusion because maybe it's the earlier move where you're saying, you know, when we learned, you know, a lot of turn. So I'm thinking, well, okay, we don't need to turn so much, you know, and it sounds like in this move you turn more than you did the first time.